Welcome. It's 8:05 on Monday, March 4th, 2024. We are live in the light room. Let me go ahead and make this live public so that when you post your comments, I know who said what. But while we do that, go ahead and share this live. Get your people in here. We are live in the light room. Let them know. Let them know that we're live and it's public. Boom. So whoever posts a comment, I can see, and then I can highlight your comment in the comment section. Check in with your green heart. Welcome to the month of March, Women's History Month. Woo, 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 woo. I got to start putting some, I don't even know what to say, sounds, if you will. Got to put some sounds in this thing, man. But it is March, Women's History Month, and we're kicking it off with an awesome, wonderful woman right here in San Antonio, Texas. And I want y'all in here so we can talk, right? Now, the difference, well, no, it's not really a difference. I don't know. I've had people here in this space. You'll see. Get in here. Check in with your green hearts. Welcome to the light room. I am Marquita Dorsey, your mental health advocate and coach. Now, here's the thing. I said I was going to slow it down when I got in here tonight. But here I am, running the race, talking fast, tying up my tongue. So, welcome to the light room, sweet loves. Check in with your green hearts. I'm so happy to have you here. I absolutely appreciate it. I don't know if I said it enough. If I did, I'm going to say it once more. I absolutely appreciate everybody that checks in whenever we are live for Mental Health Mondays. I appreciate you sharing the lives. I appreciate your comments in the live. I appreciate you showing up here and showing up for yourself. My goal is three-part: to educate, empower, and equip. Right? There's a lot of information out here in the social media space. There's a lot of people telling you what you should do, what you shouldn't do, how you should do it, all these things. And it can be quite overwhelming. And so when you come into the light room, another thing I want people to understand and want to take away from this experience is that you're in charge. You are in charge of your own healing, of your own growth, and your own transformation. You are in charge. People can give you all these formulas and all these processes, but until you can understand and identify with who you are, that may not work for you. You'll buy these programs, you'll buy these books. Trust, I'm a collector of books, right? You'll buy these programs and you'll buy these books and you'll go to these seminars and you'll go to see this person and that person, have everybody touching you and saying all these things. You have to believe all the things that have already been said about you, right? That's where we're going to start. So check in with your green hearts. I'm going to slow it down, right? So that I can fully communicate my words. And I have an announcement for y'all. So check in with your green heart. It is Women's History Month, right? If you haven't already, tell some woman that has impacted your life in a mighty way. Tell her thank you. Tell her thank you. If your mother's alive, tell her thank you. Shout out to my mother who shows up faithfully. Thank you. So check in with your green hearts. Go ahead and share this live. Come on into this conversation, right? We're going to have an open discussion tonight about healing, growing, and transforming your life. Remember what I said in the beginning. You're in charge. You're in charge. You can buy the book. You can buy the program. You can go to the seminar. But if you don't go home and put in the work, then you'll just have a program, you'll just have a book, and you would have went to a seminar. You deserve better than that. So check in right here with your green hearts. Showing up in this space for Mental Health Monday is also an investment into yourself. There are people who come into this space who know what they're talking about. You get this at no cost. At absolutely no cost. You get to hear different point of views, different ways, different aspects, and you take what you need from these guests and apply it to your life, right? You apply it to your life. I know trauma is being slung around about as bad as narcissist was last year. and I promise you these are real words, right? And true diagnoses and true things, but the way people who are not qualified to use them have been using them, it can call for an alarm. But even if you have experienced some level of trauma, you don't have to keep experiencing it. You don't have to stay there where the trauma, had you down and all those things. Come on in here. Let's talk about healing. Let's talk about growing. And let's talk about transforming your life. Check in with your green heart. Share this live on your Facebook page. Now, I don't know what's been going on with my Facebook. That's why I've been doing a couple of tests, posting things, asking you what time you saw this post, because I'm getting notifications about posts that I made days ago, you know, and I post pretty much every day. So I'm just trying to see what the delay is. I've done things that I've, looked up and they said do. So I don't know. Hopefully it changes, but that's not what we're talking about tonight. You knew the flyer was out there. You knew this was happening tonight. We're bi-weekly. Mental Health Monday is here to educate, empower, and equip. So my guest is already here in the green room, right? The light room is fancy enough to have a green room. So she's already in the green room, and we're going to pull her to the stage so we can go ahead and have this conversation. But I want her to have someone to talk to when we get ready to have this conversation. So go ahead and share this live. Check in with your green heart so that we know that you're here. And I have an announcement, right? I have an announcement. It's Women's History Month. Shout out to all the women in the live that are joining in later and all the women that are here now. Thank you. Thank you for being you, and thank you for what you do. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her from the green room, right? Hey, Sugar. Bring her from the green room so that we can have this conversation, all right? Share the live.
Hey.
Hey. Transformation coach, transformation coach, transformation coach. Not to be confused with transformation church. That's Mike Todd. Welcome to the light room, Lady O. I am absolutely excited to have you in this space. We better late than never is what they say, right? It took us some time, a little moving around, but guess what? We are here now.
We are.
So better late than never. So welcome to the light room. I am absolutely excited that you were able to be a part of this opportunity, and I look forward to our conversation. So the first thing, the way that the things are set up is I introduce you the way that I know you and the way that I met you, and then I allow you to introduce yourself, sharing with the audience whatever you want to share with them about who you are. All right. And so we both, like I said, we both live here in San Antonio, Texas. And if you know anything about where we live, if you look like this, then we have to go on a search to find other people that look like this. And so there are Facebook posts that are often made that say, hey, where are we at? Where are we located? Where can I find us? And so I think it was through Facebook and maybe one of those posts, I saw that you posted something about mental health. Anybody that posts something about mental health is an immediate connection to me. Shout out to Jay Glover. So anybody that posts something about mental health, it's an immediate connection because I want to connect us in this city to each other as a resource, because we know mental health therapy is still taboo in 2024. There are still people saying, I ain't gonna tell nobody all my business who don't know me. So there's still work for us to do here. And so we were able to connect. We've hung out at one of my favorite places, Starbucks. We hung out at Starbucks and we had a lot of conversation, and we took time to get to know each other and welcome each other to the city of San Antonio. And so, like I said, it took us a minute, but we are here. She is in the light room. I'm excited about this conversation we're getting ready to have, because I know she's about to bring the fire, right? She too is in the mental health field. So, but I'm gonna let her tell you. I'm gonna let her tell you what she's doing. So that's how I met Lady O, and I'm gonna let Lady O introduce herself to you all.
Well, I am Olivia B. Shepherd. I do like to be called Lady O, knowing I'm not like the first lady or anything. I just like that. I just want to, I actually got that name from a pastor who prophesied over me at one particular time. And she was like, I'm just going to call you Lady O. And she went through some things. So it's just been sticking with me. So I love being called that. Again, like Marquita said, we met here last year sometime, right? When I first had got here, and we, anything, like she said, mental health wise, I'll get into that in a minute, but we were here, we met, but things happened. I took sick a lot last year, so I wasn't able to be out and about anymore. But I do watch the light room. I've seen you grow. I see it every other Monday, so I'm super excited about being here because I've seen so many amazing people in this space. And this year I vowed if I begin to feel better, if I got my allergies under control and I was able to, talk and, be back healthy, that I was going to be on every platform I could be on.
Yeah.
Spreading the word about, healing, growth, and transformation, and also mental health. Again, I'm Olivia B. Shepherd. I used to be a mental health advocate for rethinkmentalhealth.org. The young lady has taken some time off, so she's no longer operating in that space. So I still call myself a mental health advocate because I am diagnosed as bipolar. That is one of my diagnoses, amongst others. I no longer identify as bipolar as I used to. I don't have it in my bio anymore because I began to realize that when you begin to heal, you kind of come out of that stuff, and that goes into a circle. And we can talk about that later as well. So my coaching, I'm a transformation coach, and I help women transform themselves from the old toxic behaviors, self-sabotaging behaviors, all of those things. Like this week, we're talking about getting out of your own way. So
Yeah.
I take them through my healing journey, which is the 5 steps that I took to get to where I am today, to transform myself into a better person. I wasn't a good person before I started my healing journey. I was another person. I cursed all the time. I drank all the time. I had habits, bad habits, toxic habits, So I take women on a journey of healing, trying to do away, with those particular toxic habits that are holding us back, those self-limiting beliefs that hold us back.
Mhm.
I used to dibble and dabble in the mental health space a lot. I still continuously talk about it. But again, I went through another direction because a lot of people, like you said, are not willing to admit that they have mental health issues. It's like pulling teeth trying to get people to understand that it is okay to say that I'm bipolar. It is okay. I had most people say, well, you go to church. How do you believe in God? And don't, and you take medication and I was in a church at first that didn't even talk about mental health because I was called demonic. Okay. So for
Wow.
years, I did not talk about mental health because my husband didn't believe it. My son, nobody. These were people close to me. So it's going to be people close to you that are not going to take your mental health serious until the one day that I tried to commit suicide, and then boom, I'm ended up in the hospital, So, but as I started to heal and get myself together through therapy, through medications, through prayer, all those things work for me. Okay. It may not work for some other people, but those are the steps that I take. So I decided to navigate away from that space just a little bit and not become the woman that is bipolar, the woman that is known to be bipolar. I did not want to be that person. Although I still suffer, although I still take medications, although I still have to go through those things, I no longer wanted to be seen as that person. To each his own. For those who are doing, and I commend you all who still have it in your bios or who still talk about that. But I don't like to say that anymore. I am diagnosed as bipolar. That is not who I am. Okay, and I don't have to claim it. Just like I have high blood pressure. That's not who I am. So I stopped. Actually, labeling myself as bipolar. So yes, I am a transformation coach. I am a mental health advocate when I need to be, and I will advocate for anybody who needs me in their space. And I'll let you know how I went through these things and the things that I, to help you get through, talking to your children about it or your relating your spouses or, church, that's just who I was. That's who I still am, but I no longer carry that label with me.
Wow. Wow. What an introduction, right? And I appreciate you even saying out loud that you do have these diagnoses because, it's important for us as advocates and mental health professionals to say what it is so that people can feel more comfortable about it. I know when I began hosting the Light Room, I would definitely share my diagnosis. And I don't have a problem with it of
Yeah.
anxiety and depression. And
Mm-hmm.
so even the PMDD diagnosis that I got, after I moved out here, when I thought I was turning into a werewolf, right? And that's what I told my therapist. I was like, something is happening, baby, because
That's
at least once a month I'm a werewolf and I don't understand what it is. And so with a little quick Google search, actually,
yeah.
that's when I learned about PMDD. And then when I went to my therapist sharing with her what it was, she identified it as the same thing. So I got the diagnosis, the confirmed diagnosis from my therapist. And so even in those things, these are conditions and challenges that we live through, that we learn to manage so it doesn't overtake our life. So being a
Exactly.
transformation coach after having, diagnoses and life experience is powerful, in that way. So I thank you for sharing those things. And especially bipolar, right? Oh, I have anxiety, I have depression. It's like one of those things. Like, and this is not to downplay any mental illness. Nobody want to
That's right.
wake up with any challenges, right? But to say that somebody has a diagnosis of bipolar
Yeah.
or disorder, that's a whole different thing. And a lot of people just, especially in the culture, just do not want to identify or be attached to that. And so they
Exactly.
suffer, right?
Yeah.
They
Oh,
suffer in
yes.
silence or suffer in the open because, like you said, family and friends will say, "Oh, that boy crazy, that girl crazy," but like, no, real talk,
Yeah.
it's two different things going on inside of this person, so they
Oh,
need
yes,
some
it is.
help.
Yeah. And I think with we've grown up that way because nobody shared or talked about it. I now know that for years I suffered from something, but who was I
Mhm.
going to tell? I couldn't tell my parents. I couldn't tell my mom, my sister, my daddy. I couldn't tell family members because it was just so taboo. But now that I think about it, half of my family members are suffering from the same thing. See, they don't want to talk about the generational things that they passed down.
That's
And I
it.
think if everybody was open and say, hey, I had to go one time I think when I went to the hospital, I found out that some of my family members was on the same floor. Like, wow. Nobody
Wow.
was going to tell me this. We're keeping secrets. So now I spent my entire childhood, my entire adulthood, my entire teenage years just being this, just wandering around, just being crazy, not, acting out, doing things, being rebellious because I didn't know what was wrong with me. Nobody talked to me. I didn't talk to anybody because I didn't want to be labeled. I didn't want, and of course, that stigma of we don't tell our business. Okay.
Yeah.
Or you don't need to tell everybody everything. I remember my husband would say, you got to tell everybody you got a mental illness, and I do. And I will. Okay. Because this is who I am. And I had been this way for so years, so for so long until I got the right medications, I actually calmed down. Like I was happy. I mean, that day that I received this diagnosis, I was happy. Because at some point now I know what was wrong with me. All these years I didn't know. I just chalked it up to being crazy. I used to just say, well, I'm a Scorpio. That's just the way I am.
Mm.
Those were the things that I would just label it, but didn't want to admit that I had a mental illness. And I didn't want to be labeled that I had a mental illness because I didn't want somebody to say that your mama was crazy, or I didn't want to embarrass my husband, or I didn't want my mom and my people to look bad. But I think it makes us look bad when we're running around here with the police call to our house all the time, or me getting in the fights, or me in the slammer all the time because I could not get myself under control. And so many people suffered in silence. And I remember the one time when I was in my therapy sessions, when I used to have to do group therapy at first, and we had to do some journal writing. And when the therapist asked me, what would you do? What are you going to do when you get out of here? And I wrote in my journal at the time, I vowed to never let another woman suffer the way I did.
Wow.
And
That's
that's
good.
why I became a coach, because I suffered in silence. I had addictions, shopping addiction, sex. I mean, you name it, I had it. Okay. And I covered that all. All that was masked to hide all of the pain that I was going through, the makeup, the clothes, the pocketbooks, the everything. It was masked, because I was hiding my mental illness. And I vowed that when I got out of there, I was never, ever going to let this happen to another woman. And I have been honest about my story. I share my story anytime, especially on my podcast. Every chance I get, I share my story. And I vow to never, because you shouldn't have to suffer alone. There's no reason why you should belong to a church. You should not have your family members. Nobody tell you that you cannot have a mental illness and that it's wrong for feeling and being this way. There's nothing demonic about me. There's nothing crazy off the wall about me. Yes, I believe in God. Yes, I'm a prayer warrior. Yes, I do, meditate, fast. I do all those things, but I do suffer from mental illness. And another thing I do, it would trip me out too, is when we're sick, My dog died. Okay? Flowers, cards, everybody. When I was in the hospital for my mental illness, silence.
Wow.
The days that I can't get out of bed, silence. Okay? You know, I don't have cancer. You know, shout out to those who are surviving cancer, living through that. But we call and check on them. We send dinners to them. We make sure, you know, the food, you know, what is it? The Uber people get to them. But me laying in the bed, I'm lazy. You got a big house. You got a nice car. Your husband take care of you. You need to get up. What you depressed for? You know, and it was all of that, which made me more depressed because I'm like, these are idiots. These people around me are idiots, you know? And it was very hurtful to have to go through that because I went through it alone. I didn't have anybody to go through with. I didn't have anybody to talk to. And people say, well, you got your husband, you got your son. They didn't understand. You know, my husband would tell me how his mom was depressed. And he was like, my mom's depressed. Oh, so what's the difference between her depression and mine? Like, is there a different type of depression that people go through, like a spouse depression and a mama depression? Which one we got?
Right.
Which
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because I'm depressed. You know, you know. So that's the thing. Those are the things that I heard. You know, and it was very hurtful. So now you're dealing with rejection from that. Now you're dealing with, you know, people not believing you because they see the outside exterior of you. Mm-hmm. So they saw me drive a nice car. They saw me, you know, with the hair and the clothes, the nails and all that stuff. But they did not see how bruised I was on the inside. Okay? So I had to learn how to do this all by myself. And I am very happy that I am able to tell my story to others because I will not let another woman suffer alone. There's no reason why we have these spaces. And a woman, like you said, this platform is free. You know, I charge for my platform. Either way, you can have some place to go so that you won't have to suffer.
Man. Well, thank you all for coming to Mental Health Monday. That's the whole of the Listen. Oh, so many. I should have been writing them down, but they were just all coming out. But you know, the first truth of like you know, when you got the diagnosis, right? Yes. Now you know what you're dealing with. Mm-hmm. When you talk about the previous behavior, the acting out, the addictions, and all of those things, so many people are misidentifying, mislabeling themselves, their family members, their children as bad, as crazy, as this and that, when they absolutely could be struggling with a mental illness. Yes. And see, the difference is when not knowing something and knowing something is when you know it, you can treat it.
Yes.
When you don't know, you got to suffer from it, right?
Yes.
And too many people are suffering from all type of illnesses because they don't want to take the next step. And so, and then for some people, I understand there's a level of anxiety of actually knowing, because then that makes it true.
Yeah.
But then it's no different than you having the symptoms. You still going through what you're going through. You have it, baby. But getting the diagnosis, getting the understanding helps you treat it, helps you learn how to manage, help you have a healthier, more successful and productive life in lieu of the challenge. We're not the first people to have challenges. If you are believing, you read your scripture, it was some challenges up in there, baby. It was some challenges up in there to the church, right? That want to, some churches identify anything that doesn't look like what they're familiar with is demonic. And that's just not fair. That's just not true.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot for us to learn. There's a lot for us to grow from.
That's a demonic spirit.
Ain't nothing but the devil.
I thought it was a demonic spirit. I did. I was like, could I just be demonic? Am I wrong for this? And it was hurtful because in the church, there are people suffering in the church. You all have a platform as pastors and deacons and whatever to share about mental health. And to say people are demonic, all you do is draw them away. We are already suffering. And when you tell somebody who's suicidal that they're demonic, where do you think we're going home to do? We don't need to be here. We're demonic. Nobody wants me. And we don't realize that we drive people to suicidal attempts. We as a society do that. I hear a lot of people would say, you're just weak-minded. You're not weak-minded. I'm battling something up there. And until you're in my shoes, you don't get to judge me. You don't get to judge how I feel. You don't get to judge I would not wish what goes on in my brain on my worst enemies. And I got a lot of people that I'm praying about. I got a lot of people that I'm still praying about. But my thing is, I wish what goes on up here on my worst enemy. And I don't have enemies anymore. I'll just say people that I don't particularly deal with anymore. But I wouldn't wish it on, Okay, see, that's the growth in me, that transformation in me. Okay. But I mean, I just wouldn't wish anybody on that. And I think what we have to do with spaces like this, especially when it comes to children and our teenagers, that we have to say, it is okay for you to feel what you're feeling. It is okay for you to come to me as a child. I'm your mom, I'm your dad. It is okay. If you're not feeling good, let's sit down and talk about it. Because I wish somebody had told me when I was abused at 12, when I was assaulted at 12, I should have been in therapy since I was 12. But I wasn't. I was told that it was my fault.
Grow up with this stuff?
Yeah, I grew up with it. So from 12 years old, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, up until I was a 40-year-old grown woman, I dealt with the sexual assault that I should have been treated for when I was 12. So maybe I wouldn't have acted out in high school. Maybe I wouldn't have made some of the mistakes I made if I had got the help when I was 12. But because my whole entire family kicked it underneath the rug and we were dared not to speak of it anymore, it did not happen, I suppressed it. But it made me crazy because I never talked. Because I didn't get the help that I needed, I became some deranged adult. It shows up in your marriage. It shows up in your friendships. It shows up on your job. Okay?
I want to say something that you said.
Go ahead.
I want to say something that you said. I want to say it again. You said, I suppressed it and it made me crazy.
Yep. Because you think about it, it's there. And I
don't think people realize it. I don't think people realize it.
I had to suppress that since I was 12. That thing was in the back of my head. I knew it. If I don't remember anything else, I can remember the day it happened to me, what I had on, what the person had on, blah, 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 blah. But I had to keep that a secret. So I dealt with that for years and years and years and years. I had to look at this person. I had to interact with this person. I had to pretend it never happened. And that went on for years, up until I was 40-something years old. And it went on for years. And then I was diagnosed with PTSD because when it started coming back to me, the smells, everything was triggering me from when I was a 12-year-old little girl. But because my family did not want to seek therapy. In that time, you didn't have therapy back then. I guess a counselor, back then. But because nobody wanted to talk about it, I didn't even see a pastor. I didn't see anybody. But as parents, we now have to say, if your kid is, look for those symptoms. If your kid is exhibiting promiscuous behavior, ask your daughter was she touched. Ask your boy, was he touched? If your child is not cleaning their rooms, they can't do their homework. Stop saying they lazy. Stop saying they just don't want to do that. No, they act like they daddy, or they act like they mama, or they stop labeling them kids and go get them checked out. It's okay to go have them see a therapist or a counselor. You can say to the pediatric, hey, this is what she's not doing. She used to be, she was on the basketball team and she quit the basketball team. Mm-hmm. She didn't just quit it because she just didn't want to do it anymore. Ask her what's wrong. But we have decided that as a society, we already know what's wrong with our kids. Nobody can tell us what's wrong with our kids. Yes, they can.
Yes, they can.
Okay, but we have to take the time out as parents to say, I taught my son, you're a man, but you can be depressed. And my son was depressed when he was in the military. Okay, yeah. You can be depressed. You are not a weak man if you are depressed.
Say that again. Not a weak man.
You need. Stop walking around with this on you. Because I know as a man, you're supposed to be the provider, the man. But yes, you can get weak at some time and you can go take the medications or go get the therapy you need. Period. But we got to stop suppressing all of that. We got to stop saying that we don't need nobody in our business. And this is what we always want to give kids medicines. Sometimes kids need medicine and some people don't need medicine. But at least let them know that they're being heard. Sometimes kids just want to be heard. I wanted to be heard. I wish at 12 I could have just spilled the tea, told everybody, called the police, had this person arrested, and then live my life. I'm trying to figure out what I would have done if I had had all that help, you know, when I was 12 years old. Now I'm a 40-something-year-old woman going through these things. So if you're out here listening, you have children, pay attention to that. You know, make sure you say, if we talk about sex with our kids, and some of us still are not talking about that either. You know, y'all sitting out here still scared to talk about sex with your kids too. You know, you better tell them, you know, you better tell them before they come tell you, you know. But I remember being in that, you know, that parent too, where nobody talked to me about sex. But we got to talk about sex. We got to talk about finances. We got to talk about mental health. We got to talk about all of that, because in order for us to have productive children, it's going to make us unproductive adults. We gotta do it, you know. And somebody said I was just suppressing it and it made me crazy. Yes, it will make you crazy to keep that secret year after year, decade after decade. You know, it's not a good feeling. It is not. It was not a good feeling. But I'm glad as I know.
It goes back to that body keeping score. It goes back to the body keeping score. And I'm glad you're bringing up the connection with adulthood and childhood. I don't know why people think we disconnect. Well, some people do disconnect, but I don't know why people think that this is not the same person. The little you and the big you, you're the same person. So what the little you went through, the big you is going to feel it. And if you suppress what the little you went through, the big you really going to struggle from it if you don't get the proper support that you need. And so that's why a lot of times people avoid therapy or avoid doing the work, right? Because the work is, you know, what you say, I'm going back and I got to bring it up. And I know it's hard to relive it, to talk about it, to think about it, because I've had to do the same thing. Anytime you see me say therapy is a scam, that means my therapist done pulled it up. And I tell her, when you make me do the work, I'm gonna tell everybody it's a scam.
I'm gonna tell you something. My therapist, she don't know it. You know, she was my best friend in South Carolina. She was my best friend. I got to the point I was so happy to go see her. I was like, oh, yes, therapy day. You know, you know, I was excited about therapy day because it was such an amazing experience for me. You know, and that's why I'm studying to become a counselor, because I want people that walk into my office to feel that exact same way. I want them to come into my office and say, you know, they won't be calling me Lady O, they'll be calling me somebody else, you know. They got to call me Mrs. Shepherd then. But I want them to come to Mrs. Shepherd's office and know that when they left there, they got the help and they got what they needed. And my therapist gave me what I needed. And yes, it does identify your triggers. You know, I knew what triggered me. You know, I used to couldn't hear about people being, you know, raped at a young age. It would trigger me. You know, those things triggered me. But now, after I got the therapy and help I needed, now when someone says, well, this happened to me, I'm like, oh, okay, how can I help? It no longer triggers me because I've worked through those triggers. And again, that's why a lot of people don't like the healing process. And I tell this to my ladies all the time, because sometimes it is hurtful, but if you can't heal what you don't reveal, so you'll be stuck in that if you don't get that together. Okay. And I just told her that if you don't heal it, if you don't reveal it, it's never going to be healed. And you're going to be literally, well, yeah, a lot of that is true. Some people don't avoid therapy because, yeah, that is true. But you know what I say? Go through your local free services, because they do offer sliding scales.
Yep.
Okay. You can only pay $5. They'll look at your income. You can either pay $5 or pay $0. Or I think one time it was up to $25. Now, at the time, my insurance covered it. But there are people but I help people that I do know. I try to find them in the resources in their area, but start with the free clinic, so that you can go through them and they will put you on a sliding scale. It's called a sliding scale. And they have that sliding fee. And sometimes it ranges from $0 to $25, just depending on what you pay. Okay. So
Another
yeah,
another couple of resources I'll add,
yeah.
when I was in college, sometimes, well, some colleges will allow um, the students who are in the skills program or in the counseling program to take on people from the community as a means of practicing their skill before they actually get out there. And so sometimes they do offer public counseling at some colleges and universities. So that's
Yep.
one. Another thing is to check with your employer to see if they offer the employee assistance program. A
Right.
lot of people, I didn't know about it until I had my own experience and my
Mhm.
supervisor mentioned it to me. And, I just told her I was going through some things and didn't really know. She was like, well, have you tried the EAP? And I was like, well, what that is. And so she told me,
Mhm.
and I went through the service for
Mhm.
myself and everybody I meet. If you are employed, that's one of the first questions I ask you. Does your
That's right.
job have employee assistance? Because that's at no cost to you. You get
That's
at
right.
least four or more, a minimum of four, I would say, for most of them, free therapy sessions for you and your family members. And then they will link you to a provider that accepts the insurance. So all
Exactly.
that thing kind of works together. So that's another tool. And then
Yeah.
to some churches, nah, some of them are people with a good heart who are coming
Yeah.
from scripture telling you what God loves. But some of them
That's
are volunteering their time and services as therapists and mental health professionals, and they're
right.
also a part of the ministry. So there are some resources out there for those who finances are an issue, because that is an issue for our community, right?
It's
So back in the
it's
day,
that's right.
yeah,
You know, but
we recognize that finances is an issue.
exactly. The finances is the issue as well. And to is that author Shay? Is it Shay K? I don't. Well, her last name is Shepherd. She spells it like mine. I really don't find that many people that spell it like me.
She lives
um.
here too. She gonna be on here.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Cool. Cool. Leisha said sometimes we're standing in our own way. That's what I was going to get at, because what I think is we make excuses for not going because we still are trying to find little reasons why we shouldn't go to therapy. Um, I know my husband likes to say, well, what am I going to talk about? And I'm saying to myself, boy, you got a lot to talk about. Like go. I think people get the misconception of therapy. I think people think when you go into therapy, you laying on a couch, and the therapist is just sitting there with a notepad, and that's it. And you just go in there and talk.
Yeah,
That is not how it is.
and
It
that
is
is
a
it.
structured
That is not it.
thing. Okay. All right. I don't think people realize it's not just sitting on the couch. You are not going to be just sitting on a couch. You're going to be doing the work. You're going to be doing things. And what I liked about my therapist was she did take notes. She was one of those note taking therapists too. And she brought some things back to me that I would say something and she'll bring it back to me. Like, oh girl, did you bring that back? You have to bring that back up. Like,
Little
why you
sucky
always
moment.
like why you always keep a record? But I felt so relieved when I got some of those things off of me. But it also saw that another thing that people don't like, they don't like to be healed because sometimes you might be the problem. See, a lot of people, we so busy thinking we're in therapy because, my husband did me wrong, my mama did me wrong, everybody did me wrong. Sometimes you the problem. See, you might be the toxic one. You might be the one with all of the problems. And you don't want to be. See, I was told I had all the problems. Everybody told me something was wrong with me. All right. Everybody in my community, everybody around me I was the problem. My son said I was the problem. My mama said I was the problem. My husband, my sister, everybody said I was the problem. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm the problem. Let me go get myself help. Now I'm in therapy for people who need therapy.
Yeah.
I've gotten healed. Okay.
Yeah.
Y'all still a problem. And so it really wasn't me. It was people projecting their insecurities onto me. All right.
Yeah.
Y'all still in therapy. I'm the one walking around here healed. Y'all walk around here unhealed.
Right.
But a lot of people don't want to take the responsibility that they are the problem. I was a drunk. I was a loud drunk who started fights with my husband. Yep, it was me. Okay. I did that. And I needed to get help with my drinking. All right.
Yeah.
I can admit that I took responsibility. And a lot of people don't want to take responsibility because, according to most people, they ain't nothing wrong with me. I call my husband it ain't me. Who me? That's who I call him. I said, you the who me person. Who me? It is you. What's wrong with you? Something wrong with the sign. Like, I don't know why y'all don't believe this, but it was easier for them to say I was the problem so they didn't have to deal with themselves. And so if you're dealing with people who are always constantly making you the problem, it's because they're projecting and they want you to get the help so that they don't have to get the help that they need. But I love the fact that I went to therapy. It was an
Oh
amazing
yeah.
experience for me.
Oh yeah.
I still, I'm getting ready to start back seeing somebody here in San Antonio. I love it. It was an amazing, amazing experience for me. I love, love, love everything. I think he said the therapy sessions are at 10 $20.
Yeah, he was saying he was it's a great conversation with what is pertaining to your guest. As a divorced man twice over, I not only sought therapy for myself, but also to my two daughters because they needed this for them moving forward within their lives. The therapy sessions they attended are online at $20 a session for each of them. My daughters, who are teen and preteen, respectively, truly appreciate this proper gesture for caring and loving about them moving forward and beyond. I want to say that's what that's going to be, beyond. And so shout out to you, Brandon. Thank you for even sharing that and saying it out loud. As a Black man, as a father, again, I'm going to say kudos to you for getting that done for yourself and getting that done for your daughters, because divorce, they say divorce is almost like death for children.
That's right.
And that's at any age. They just cannot, sometimes they cannot understand that some children, it's traumatic, and some children do not recover when their parents divorce. So I'm glad you put them in therapy so they can have a productive life, and you too can continue to have a productive life. And so he said that the sessions were, one, online, and then two, they were $20. So that's absolutely affordable. But there are a lot of resources now, more than ever, out there for us. About therapy, getting you there. Like you said, if you want to do the work, there are resources. And that's another reason that the Lightroom, these live streams are free, because I want to be able to say this out loud for people to hear it. Because if we're not saying, if they're not talking about it at home, if they're not talking about it at their church or in their family units, they don't know that they can go to therapy. They don't know that their job has a plan in place called EAP that will support them and their family members. Like when I first found out about it, me and my son went to therapy, right? Because it's for you and whoever's in your household. And this is free and no cost to you if your job covers it. So thank you for sharing it, and thank you for bringing it up. So I hope this, again, these conversations are to educate, right? To empower and equip. I just remember the dark days that I had, and I just don't even, looking back, I don't even know how I was making it. Like just walking around, literally being a zombie sometimes.
Yeah, I was a boss at the time. And I was having to, run my business, try to, clean homes, do what I needed to do. But then I had liquor bottles everywhere. Girl, I used to have a big hair box that had all my weave and wigs in, liquor bottles everywhere. I was just drinking. I would go to the park and cry myself to death and just drink. I was drinking and driving. I mean, it was just so bad. I remember praying for the home that we bought. I prayed to God, please let me get this home. I went and prayed over it. And I was like, please, 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 Lord, I just want flowers. Well, I get the home and turned it into a prison. I kept my blinds shut. I couldn't get out of the bed. I only got out of the bed because I know I needed to go to work. But what I would do was, because I was the boss, I could call off. Who gonna check me? I'm the boss. I wouldn't go to work sometimes. I mean, it was just so many things that I did that I now look back on with everything that I'm going through right now. Excuse me, even the death of my dog right now. I'm sad, I'm hurt, but I know that I don't want to be back in that dark place. And I even pray to God now that I'm on my journey here with God now. And I said, I don't want to go back to the dark place. I don't want to be back. It was scary there. Because I wrote notes to myself about how I was going to commit suicide. I wrote notes to my son and my husband what I needed them to do. I don't want to write those notes again. And I didn't want to be in that place again. It was a very, very dark, cloudy place. And I was like, I'm never doing it again. So what I started doing was, even now, when I'm in the house that we're in now, I open up every blind every morning. I don't care how I'm feeling. I don't care what's going on in my life. Yes, my puppy is not here anymore, but I'm opening blinds because I refuse to be back in that dark place again. Okay. I didn't know how I was going to make it. I didn't even think I was going to make it out. I'm thank God for putting me in that hospital, putting me in that space so that I could be where I'm at right now. And yes, self-care, all day long. I'm going to practice me some self-care. Okay. And if self-care to me, like I try to tell everybody and all of my clients, stop thinking self-care is hair and nails. Y'all stop thinking that. Stop thinking you gotta go get a pedicure. Or I see people post, self-care today. Girl, but is you still nuts? Because you ain't, did you go to therapy today? Because you sit around here talking about getting your nails done. You get those nails done. All you're doing is masking what's in the inside. Okay.
That's it.
Making it cute. Journaling is key. You better say it, Leisha. Journaling is key. I like to go walk all the time. Now that my pup is gone, in his honor, I'm going to continue to still go walk. I definitely take naps. Get sleep, people.
Come on,
Stop around here worrying about stuff you can't control. Because y'all can't say y'all believe in God, but also worried about how that light bill fit to be paid. Y'all can't say y'all believe in God, but you're worrying about your kids. Grown kids at that. It's okay to worry about the small ones, but y'all better let the grown ones go. You can't sit up here and say that you practice self-care, but I can't go to sleep. No, take a nap. I used to think taking a nap because I didn't want my husband to see me laying down because I didn't, because he did one time call me lazy. Or why are you laying down in the middle of the day? Because I'm tired. My brain tired. And I'm going to sit down and I'm going to go lay down and that's what I'm going to do. Now, I don't care who know it. 2:00 in the afternoon, this sister going to take a nap. Because go to sleep. That's my self-care. Taking a nap is my self-care. Indulging in my lifetime stories are self-care. Reading my Bible is self-care. Journaling is self-care. Buying flowers for myself is self-care. There's so many things that you could do for self-care, but you got to actually put that into practice daily. So it can become a habit. And you have to continue to do it. If if journaling does not work for you, then you go find something else to do. But I think a lot of people too, they don't want to take a nap because they missing something. What you missing? It's gonna be there when you get back up. The world, the gossiping, all that stuff will be there when you get back up. You know what I'm saying? People already know that after 7:00, don't call my phone. What you calling me for? People know I like my bedtime and say, like, this is late for me. 8:52. This is late for me, because I'm in my bed. Because I have gotten to the point where my mental well-being is better than anything out in that world. So at 8:52, I'm usually shutting down. 9:00, I have set my new schedule since I'm back at school. 9:00, I like to be ready to be done. You see what I'm saying? My son could call me and say, hey, I made it home from work because he works at night and he's in South Carolina. So I like to keep up with my, him, make sure I get home safely. That's it. Oh, Miss Shepherd girl, set boundaries. Let's talk about how setting boundaries is self-care, people.
Y'all better share this live, man. Y'all getting all this good stuff. Y'all better share this live with somebody.
Let me tell y'all something. And my clients know this. Y'all sit around here and stop thinking that y'all too scared to say no to somebody. You can say no to your mama. You can say no to your sister. You can say no to your cousin, your brother, your children. Okay? You can say, this is not what I'm going to put up with. I am not going to have you talk to me this way. I do not want to do this today. No, I don't have to do that. You set those boundaries and you keep it moving. Ask anybody who deals with me. I will put you in boundary jail if you overstep them. I do not play about my boundaries. Do you hear me? That goes for my friends, that goes for my families, that goes for my husband and my son, anybody. I set boundaries with you because guess what? That is how I practice self-care. I don't have gossiping going on in my life. I go to bed at night. I got a lot of things going on, but I say no. And if I tell my mother I don't want to hear talk about something, that's what I meant. You don't get to come in my space and tell me what you want me to know because we family. And a lot of you all are so afraid. I can't talk to my mom that way. I always get that. You ain't got but one mama. Well, she ain't got but one older daughter. And if she worried me to death, I ain't gonna be here. You know what I'm saying? So, stop guilt tripping people about not talking to family members. It's not that we're not talking to them because we don't love them, but I don't want to put up with your crap. I grew up with the crap. I'm not going to spend my old age in the crap. No, Period. Set boundaries all day long. Set boundaries. That's all you got to do. Learn to say no.
Learn.
My clients know I don't play about them boundaries. Oh my God. Don't get me started. I can give you a whole lesson on boundaries. I love boundaries. I'm the boundary queen. Okay. People know. I mean, my husband will say, well, you can't do that. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. That's a boundary. That's a boundary. Period. I can do it. Who tell me I can't do it?
You don't do is sleep at night, huh?
Thank you, because I'm going to sleep at night. Okay. So while you want to sit up and not, and again, you know what I have to tell people? That you will face rejection. You will face backlash. You will face you used to do, or I hear it all the time where people say how I used to do, but if you still are, then something wrong with you, not me. Don't come for me. I am healing. I'm growing. I'm transforming into who God has created me to be. And it will require me to level up. And if you're still in the same space you were in 2000, then, you're 24 years too late for me, sis. So I got to keep on going. You know what I'm saying? So yes, boundaries is self-care. I love everything about that. Set those boundaries, please. And it's for your mental well-being, Say that again.
I said, welcome to the light room, baby. Set them boundaries.
Boundaries are
boundaries.
Yes, it's self-care. That is total self-care. It is. It is. It is.
Wow. Man, so I don't even know. Listen, I know. Look, y'all just got the whole transformation coach session right there for free 99. Actually, it wasn't even free 99. It was just free. Okay. Free no 99. Okay. I just got a whole coaching session for free. Set those boundaries. Take care of you. And you should, and again, the level of connections that have been made tonight from childhood to adulthood, how the body keeps score, how these things come up, how to what the benefits of therapy, what could happen in therapy. All these things have been said tonight. All these things have been shared. All these things are beneficial for healing, growth, and transformation.
It is.
So the people have definitely gotten what they need. And again, I am absolutely grateful for you being in the space and sharing your wisdom and your journey with us. So how can people connect to you? How can people get involved and get this good transformation?
I am all over the place. I am on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I am everywhere. So it's at Olivia B. Shepherd everywhere. If you want to be coached by me, my Renew Her group coaching is a small group coaching program that I have for women. It's a monthly fee. It's a small monthly fee. That's on for you to pay every month, and when in there you get a lot. You think this was something? Wait till you get inside my group. Like, you get homework. I mean, it's just jam packed with a lot of things. I tell my story. It's just a lot in that group. I'm also offering now with my subscription over on Instagram, where if you want to sign up for like $4.99 a month over there, you can get like a morning message from me, some journal prompts, some tips and stuff that you can get, just something that's a little bit more affordable. Or you could just get all of the free, info that I put out on my posts. Like, my posts are very inspirational. One of my clients is on here now. She's talking about, we do homework. Yes, they do. They do homework. Yes, she's talking, we do homework. Yes, my clients do homework. And like I said, I'm all over the place. You can pick my brain. I do have like a $25 session for you to pick my brain. Sometimes people just need to ask a question, at where they're at right now, so you can do that. But again, I'm all over Olivia B. Shepherd. I'm also a podcast host. Girl, Your Journey Starts Here podcast. It is everywhere. You can go pull that up on iTunes or Google, Spotify, wherever you download your podcast. Again, I get into all types of topics. I'm very transparent. I do not shy away from any subject. I tell my story. I'm very truthful about my story. So you will learn. If you're not ready for coaching right now, you can learn a lot of those things, for free, right when you follow me. So those are my spaces.
I'm not gonna think for anybody else, but I'm gonna encourage you to realize how beneficial what you have received tonight is.
Yes.
And I'm gonna say free because we know in the background
Mm.
how much it costs to see a therapist. Some of these therapists are double, triple
Oh,
digits, and they deserve to be, because when you
yeah.
take on all of somebody's, most
Yeah.
times it's their negative energy, and they're telling you, they're pouring all these things into you, and you too are human. You can't unhear what you hear,
That's right.
so they have to take in all of yours and somebody else's. That's a
Mhm.
lot. So whatever they charge, that's what they charge. And so to
That's right.
be in this space and providing this information, to one, cause an awakening, right?
Yeah.
Cause an awakening and an awareness for you to say, hold on, I may
That's right.
be the problem. And sometimes identifying yourself as the problem ain't a bad thing, right?
Oh, it's
Because
stuff.
somebody said earlier, sometimes we're standing in our own way. And that's the truth. You're praying to God and you're asking God to do all these things. And He's like, I've already done it. But you
Yeah.
aren't moving your feet and you don't realize you're the problem. You're standing in your own way. It's your
Right.
lack of work that's not going with your faith that's caused you not to receive. And so
Exactly.
even in there, because my therapist is a believer. And so even in there,
Yeah.
you'll learn how sometimes to make those two come together. So God
Exactly.
has put people on this earth in place to take on these things, to overcome these things, and to have somebody who knows from a personal experience,
That's
man, it
right.
just maximizes your experience. And she has shared her experience in her own personal life, and now she's doing
They
it
want to wait
academically.
for me. They want to wait to become my clients next year after I get my LPC. Then y'all can wait for me next year too,
Look
and I
at
can
God.
become
So
after I
take
get my
on these resources and then
yeah
come back
yeah.
to Lady
Y'all
O when you're ready.
back to me, after I graduate next year, after I get this LPC, y'all can be my clients
That's
next
it.
year. I'll
That's
take all
it.
y'all,
Look at that.
and we'll have a little. Remember, I was in a Lightroom discount.
You can pull it up on YouTube if they don't remember. Like, hold on, let me go back. Click the link to
Use
YouTube. It's gonna be right
yeah,
there.
using the Lightroom. Come on over here for that little
There's
discount
your
over here.
comment.
Therapy
Look, I see your
session.
comment right there. That was you.
And I plan on doing virtual virtual counseling as well. So once the lady that I'm going to be working with is going to be showing me how to be able to do those things as well. So I can't wait to I actually become licensed and I can share my story and do all these things and have the credentials behind me. So this is going to be amazing.
Yeah. Good. I love everything about that for you on every level. I think it's absolutely amazing, the work that you're deciding to do. So
Mhm.
may God bless you in each and every endeavor that your hand is up against, that your hand is working through. I know great things are going to come from you. I know people are going to be healed. They're going to grow and they're going to transform
Yes,
working with
sir.
Lady. Oh, so
Yes,
I
ma'am.
will. Yeah. Well, Alicia done told us you're doing your homework, right?
Well, do your
You're
homework. You
doing
should
your
know.
homework.
She know. She know.
She
Y'all
said,
gonna
I'm
be doing.
thankful for this live because it shows me that I am not alone. Listen,
Yeah.
thank you for saying that, Alicia. Thank you for
Yeah.
saying that. The purpose of another purpose of this live, or you can include it under one of the 3 points, is so people will know you are not alone. We are not alone. You're not the only one, male or female, Christian or not, Hindu, Muslim, you are not the only person that's going through something, that has been through something, and you're not going to be the only one that overcomes it, right?
That's
So
right.
both of us are sitting here, with our own diagnosis, and we're doing the work to help other people and support other people as advocates and then as licensed professional counselors. So you can. So I'm glad that you're thankful. I appreciate this space.
And I share the Lightroom inside my group. I share it. I have a free group that I do. I constantly share it because I do want, and I even bring other coaches into my group because I don't know everything.
Right.
And so I think that it's okay for us to collab and make sure that we are all in a space where we're helping each other because you know something I don't. I know stuff you don't. So I also share this in my group, like I explained to the women in my group. She does everything. I think you had someone on for self-care. You had somebody that was on there doing finances, wills. Like all of this plays into your
Mhm.
mental health. All of it,
Absolutely.
whether you believe that or not, you not having a will is mental health related. You not
Ooh,
having your together is mental health related. All of that is in the Lightroom. And this is an amazing space for other people who, right now and you still have people on the fence, like, I don't know about no coach, or I don't know about no mentor, or I don't know about no counselor. You know what I'm saying? So, if you're not ready for that, maybe listen to this every other Monday and just make sure you get what you need until you're ready to take that step to say, hey, okay, now I'm ready. So direct me to where I need to go. So keep doing what you're doing, because trust me, we're listening. Sometimes I'm in the bed by this time. But usually I do share it. I will share it, even if I don't listen all the time. I do share it, and then I go back and watch it. So thank you for the opportunity and the space that you provide for everybody else, because it is an amazing space, and we need it. We definitely need it.
Thank you for the affirmation. Thank you for the
Mm-hmm.
affirmation. Well, I'm going to allow you to get back to your bedtime because I understand a bedtime. And my phone gonna go gray in a minute because it's gonna be my bedtime.
That's
So
what
thank you
everybody
so much.
y'all, because I go to sleep. I go to sleep, y'all. I go to sleep. I'll put up my sleep. I'll be 50, still looking like this because I go to sleep. Go to sleep, people. Get some sleep tonight. Let God
Shout out
handle
to Robin.
You let God handle it. Go to sleep tonight. Get you
That's
8
it. Go to
hours so
sleep.
that you can
Rest.
function, because that will affect your mental health as well. Go to sleep
Absolutely.
tonight. Lady O said it. Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
Go to sleep. And on that note, I'm gonna let you have a good night so you can go to sleep. I pray
Thank
that you
you.
rest well. Thank you so much, and we'll catch up on the other side.
All right. Have a good night, y'all. Bye.
Bye. All right. That wasn't that good. Wasn't that good, y'all? Man, that was so good. And I'm not surprised because again, we've met in person and I just seen her work and I know the energy that she brings. So a lot of good points were made, a lot of good questions were asked, a lot of good things were brought up in this live. So if you missed any parts of it, I encourage you to go back and start from the beginning. Like she came through the gate with the fire. So I encourage you to go back to the beginning, get that which you missed. Now, right? And it's amazing how things kind of like linked up in this live too. A lot of things that I was working on or writing down, she mentioned like, so this one was real good. So I want to leave you with a couple of things. Well, let me say this first. Let me tell you my announcement. So I said that I had an announcement. And then too, let me say this. I don't know if it's something with Facebook or what, but if you see my post, please, just for the sake of me understanding what's happening, at least like it. You ain't gotta love it, just at least like it so I can see what's happening with my engagement and see why things aren't moving or why I'm getting such delays in notifications. Because again, people responding, I'm getting notifications about posts that I made 4 or 5 days ago, which means you're not seeing the post that I made today, or you know. So if you see something that I posted, like it, comment if you got time. Let's have a conversation about it. That's number one. Number two, I've decided, I'm ready. So there's a certification, right? I am a certified mental health first aider for youth and a certified mental health first aider for adults. There is an opportunity to become a facilitator, an instructor for these courses that I have been certified in. So I have decided that it is now time for me to obtain that certification. There is a fee for that certification, right? So I have created a link tree. It's in my bio. So click the link tree link in my bio. And what you'll find when you click that link tree link is a link to my crowdfunding through GoFundMe, right? My crowdfunding through GoFundMe so that I can pay the certification fee so that I can obtain that certification. No amount is too small, no amount is too big. You want to pay the whole fee? Shout out to you. A business, an individual, an organization, those who have checked into the Lightroom once, 2 times, 3 times, whatever. If you are able to, please donate to the certification fund so that I can become a certified instructor. What that means is the certification that I hold, I can come to your church, your organization, or to you individually, and then I can train and certify you, right? So now you will know how to advocate for yourself and those around you. You won't be so nervous when somebody is experiencing some type of mental health or substance abuse episode or crisis. You will know how to support them as well as support yourself. So I'm excited about the experience. I'm excited to have that certification, and I'm absolutely excited to travel around the world. training and certifying people to be mental health certified. You got to say certified. So I'll be delighted to come to your city, your town, your state, your nation to certify you and your organization or even your families. I would love if a family would book me to certify the entire family and then hold up your certificate and say, my family is now certified mental health first aiders. It will be adults first because I would have to go back through it to do the youth, and then there's a whole different fee. So I'll start with the adult certification. I'm certified for both, but I'll start with adults. So, in short, the link is in my bio. Please share the link as well. Share it to your organization, share it to your community, share it on your social media, share it wherever you feel the need to share it. So that fee can be obtained and I can become certified. And we can continue to share, to spread light across the world as it relates to mental health. And I want to leave you with this, right? Time alone won't heal trauma. Faith alone won't fix it. Medicine alone won't mend it. And living life alone will only make it worse. But you aren't broken beyond all repair. Trauma didn't break you. You aren't broken, you're wounded. And wounds can heal if proper measures are taken. Taken. If proper measures are taken. Listen, do you know the promises of God for your life? And I want you to really think about that. It's called In Touch with Charles Stanley. I listen to him every morning. And this morning, as I was listening to him, I said, I wonder if people really know the promises that they receive when they receive God's love, when they receive, being accepted into the faith. If you don't know, I ain't talking about the surface stuff. I ain't talking about the cliche stuff. I'm talking about going through that scripture and finding out just how much God loves you, just how much God adores you, all those wonderful, magnificent things that God says about you. That could be your first form of self-care, and that's free if you have a Bible. Write those things down as affirmations. Say them to yourself until you feel it on the inside of you. It's healing. Ask me how I know. It's healing. So, time alone won't heal your trauma. Faith alone won't fix it. Medicine alone won't mend it. And living life alone will only make it worse. Thank you for checking into the light room. Thank you for sharing this live. Thank you for taking care of yourself. It is Women's History Month. Thank you to Lady O for coming in and talking about healing, growth, and transformation. Get some rest. I love y'all. Good night.